very recently, as recent as the last week of August, a teenage boxer has died 5 days after being knocked out in a professional fight. I'll just give you a backgrounder. Mexican welterweight Jeanette Zapanta, who's 18 years old, who has a record of 2-4, was knocked down in the fourth round against Marie Perhule at the GVM Gala International in Montreal on the 28th of August. Now, she appeared to have a seizure after being dazed by a left uppercut and a right hook and was taken to a hospital. Imagine this, Zacharias was slated to receive about $1,430 for the Sidelight fight. And that was the first bout, actually, of Zacarias Zapanta outside Mexico. Now, for instances of this nature, Ryan, according to this story, she was actually knocked out in May and was suspended for 90 days. How can something like this, was this basically could this have been an illness that was not discovered before she being allowed to fight again?
That is what appears to be the case. Her father had spoken to members of the Mexican press and stated that she was aware that something was wrong before the fight, that she was told, the family tried to convince her to not go through with this fight. She did. She had said that this is the career I've chosen. If I die, I die. That's what her father had said. Um, Now, where we have to place the blame now is on the miscommunication or the lack of communication that the Mexican commissions, whoever it is that oversees boxing there in the region that she's from Aguas Caliente, and not communicating this to the promoters and the commissions in Canada. Now, usually what happens is a boxer who's going abroad will have to get clearance from the
Mhm.
commission that they're from, and then they can fight somewhere else. Did that happen? Was we've seen some situations where people have circumvented that system. Is that what had occurred? Who is to blame?
Mm.
Did the because at the end of the day, I don't believe that the Canadian Commission, I believe the fight took place in Quebec,
Mhm.
should have cleared this person if they did not have the clearance, the testing that showed that this fighter was eligible to fight.
Well, the promoter, Yvonne Michael, has promised to take care of everything and to take care of everything that's related to the young woman's family. And Yvonne Michael actually had a Twitter statement that was issued. But to think about an 18-year-old who has a lot of future on her hands is really, 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 really very sad. But let me just put a sidelight to it. Let me put a sidelight question into this. Was there a really big disparity as far as the weight? Because looking at the video and the photos of the two protagonists, um, her opponent, Marie Per Hui, looks a bit, I mean, bit bigger than she was.
Mhm. According to the official weights, not really. They were about 3 pounds, but you know, um, Zakaria Zapata, she had been fighting around that weight. I
Mhm.
know that there was one fight in 2018 where it said that she weighed 117 pounds and her opponent weighed 151. I don't believe that to be true. I think that something may have been input incorrectly
Mhm.
by BoxRec editor. I don't think someone can go up and down like that. It looks like welterweight or probably maybe like even lightweight would have been Zakaria Zapata's natural weight. I think that there was a real disparity in terms of ability. That
Mhm.
that I think
Mhm.
is
Mhm. Mhm.
was more apparent.
Mhm.
Marie Pierre Huel was I think far more ready for that fight. She had that mindset of a winner. So she was really going out there and just doing what her job is to box.
Yeah.
she had no
And she
way
was
to
and she was throwing a lot of bombs the way of Jeanette.
doing her job, and she had no way to know that her opponent was compromised or may have been compromised going into the fight, and that's the last thing that a fighter would ever want to think about.
Mhm.
They want to think about, okay, I go out there, I put on a show, I do my job, my opponent, will throw back. It could have happened to her. That's the way
Mhm.
boxers look at it. Whatever bad thing happened, it could happen to them as well. So she has to go out there and defend herself, do her job. She doesn't want to be, I feel really bad for Marie Pierre Huel to be in this situation because she didn't sign up to be on the other end of a ring death.
For all of these deaths that might could have been a result of a lot of uh, you know internal injuries from boxing. Do you think that uh, the institution, I'm talking about boxing, has really been uh, very, very astute in its evaluation of how fighters are allowed to step into the ring and strut their wares?
There's no way to make boxing safe. That that the dirty secret of boxing is that it's always going to be dangerous. You'll never be able to eliminate ring deaths. And I've known fighters throughout the years. I've been involved in boxing as a journalist for about 15 years, and there are some fighters that you get closer to than others. Patrick Day, who was a very talented boxer here in America, junior middleweight. He died a couple years ago, I believe 2019. And the fight where and he was someone I knew from the amateurs. I used to write about him when I was the Golden Gloves writer for the New York Daily News, and then as a professional as well. He was someone who, in his fight when he lost his life against Charles Conwell, it just looked like a regular boxing match. There was nothing that made you think, okay, something bad could happen. And then he went down and he never got back up. So there's never going to be anything that can, make boxing or eliminate boxing's danger. What I try to do is I don't look away from the danger of it. If we're going to be involved in this, we should always understand that the danger is omnipresent. I know
Mhm.
some people feel squeamish about it,
Mhm.
and they want to ignore, and they say, well, you know what, he died doing what he loved. You know what, he did. But we have to remember, he died. This really happened. And we all kind of bear the guilt, the shame
Mhm.
of it. This is what we're involved in. So it's a heavy sport that we're into. And the best we can do is try to mitigate whatever risks we can. I hate to feel like this, but Jeanette Zapanta didn't need to die.